and appears to be having no effect on actual policy in the state, where Republicans are in control of both the legislature and the governorship, and where they just continue to steadily keep opening everything further up, even as case numbers rise and rise and rise, and hospital systems start to get tapped. The country is starting to figure out, though, that this is what's happening. The White House isn't talking about it. The president isn't talking about it. The national media really likes to cover just lots of things that the president says. The president isn't talking about this anymore. But if you can stop listening to whatever it is he's provoking you with and saying for long enough to look around and notice what's going on in the country is starting to realize that even though the White House is ignoring it, what's happening in terms of the virus right now, what's happening in terms of the epidemic, is really bad. And this isn't some second wave happening in the fall. This is a first wave that's either never cresting or a second wave that's arriving in June. As the country starts to wake up to this, broadly speaking, it will be interesting and important to see if in the face of what's going on in all of these states with rising epidemics, it'll be fascinating to see if the head in the sand, don't talk about it approach still stays popular in the Republican Party and in general. This was NBC Nightly news coverage of this situation tonight.
Tonight, rising concerns as a surge of new COVID-19 cases hit multiple states.
No one wants to slow down the opening of the economy if there's any way to avoid it. And we are in the any way to avoid it stage.
In Texas, a month after opening back up, hospital space is available. But at Houston Methodist, patients are up 40%.
I think people have let their guard down.
President Trump himself criticized after photos from last night's Dallas visit showed a packed church with few masks and limited social distancing. When you saw that picture of the president's meeting last night, what was your initial reaction?
I was angry because that's our commander-in-chief. That's the person who's supposed to be leading the effort to keep you alive in the time of COVID.
In South Carolina, the governor lifting restrictions despite seeing the single largest daily increase in cases since the pandemic began. 14 states showing a greater than 25% increase in cases in the last week. Recent spikes now prompting some areas to press pause. Nashville staying in phase 2 as both Utah and Oregon take similar steps.
This is essentially a statewide yellow light. This one-week pause will give our public health experts time to assess what factors are driving the spread of the virus and determine if we need to adjust our approach to reopening.
If she makes that decision, there's a reason she's making that decision, and I have to trust that.
Nationwide, the virus still hitting familiar hotspots. This California nursing home evacuated early this morning after an outbreak, forcing every resident to relocate. And in Oklahoma, Whirlpool announcing it's closing its plant in Tulsa, where the virus just hit a new daily peak. The company's saying exposed workers have been quarantined. And with each COVID-19 case in the plant, there is a thorough investigation that includes contact tracing.
NBC Nightly News' Morgan